Welcome in. I'm Paint with Josh. It's nice to see you again. You look fantastic this evening. By the way, let's get our Bob Ross liquid white, or you can use Grumbacher's liquid white. Either brand works just perfectly. Just want to dip just the tip of the bristles in, just the tip. Over here, make a big old X, boom, and then we're going to spread that paint all the way around. Now, I normally do this prior to turning on the cameras, but people ask me all the time, Josh, how do you do the base coat? How did you get to this point? So we do these things called literally every single step videos. Less is more, L-E-S-S, literally every single step. Right? Does anybody get that acronym? Do you understand why we call them less is more videos? Literally, L, every, E, single, S, step, S, L-E-S-S. Less is more on these literally every single step videos. So, you guys, I'm super excited. Big news, by the way, big news. The stream will be changing, okay? We have this very, very expensive camera, a very equally expensive laptop, new lighting, and a new lapel mic, which you can see I'm not wearing now. Our stream, when we do it, with all the new stuff, should be on next Thursday. London was telling me next Thursday we should be ready to stream with all the new equipment, the new microphone setup, so our audio will be nice and crisp and clear, and then we literally have a $2,000 4K camera that we're going to be streaming from. Okay? Gotta put in the funds to make them, right? You gotta spend money to make it. That's what they always say. But yeah, but this crazy, gorgeous camera. I'm talking about this. I dream about this camera. It's so pretty. So we're going to be using this awesome camera. The YouTube stream is going to switch to a full screen, so on your TV you can watch it on full screen. The TikTok stream will be the same. We'll have little things on the screen. You can click on different places. It's going to be awesome, you guys. Literally fantastic. I've been getting a lot of comments. It says, like, stop saying literally. You say literally too much. So literally, I'm going to say literally 100 times. In this in this episode, we're going to call it the literally episode, because we're literally going to say literally until my tongue falls off, right? So, you guys got to check in. Let me know where you're watching from out there as we get all this white paint across every portion of the canvas, nice and evenly spread, very thinly, right? So you can look down the side of the canvas and go, okay, where is it dry? Where is it wet? You'll be able to see. Now I'm going to tell you, or teach you how to check and make sure you've got just enough paint for everything to work, right? We should be able to touch it in multiple places, all across the canvas, four corners and in the center, and we can see a very small amount of our liquid white paint on our fingertips. We can see little dimples and little things, little gaps and such, and that's exactly what we want to have. Okay, now we're going to go through the colors that we're going to use. Our titanium white, our midnight black, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, sap green, yellow ochre, probably our Van Dyke brown, which I might need to get a little bit more out of. Maybe our dioxazine purple, perhaps the phthalo green, probably not, but we're going to figure it out as we go. First things first, we're going to go right into our ultramarine blue, just grabbing the pile of paint with just the tip of the bristles, pulling it down, creating an area that we can then load our brush from, right? Having all this gorgeous paint, and we'll start to drop it onto the canvas. Now, because our canvas is wet, this paint will slide very easily and it'll spread out. Versus if you were on a dry canvas, boy, oh boy, it takes a lot of pressure and a lot of schwippies to get your paint to start moving, okay? Now all we're doing is blocking on the color, so we don't have to make it look like a certain thing. We're just adding some color onto the canvas, and then we'll go back and blend out all these little streakies by the time we get there, right? Let's throw, since we got the purple on the palette today, let's throw the purpley bit, ooh yes, right down underneath. That dioxazine purple is such a pretty color. And as you can see, it's very heavy. So if you lay it on there very heavily, you gotta push it real hard to get that sucker to go away. Let's take a little bit of our midnight black, just a swipe or two up in the top corners, because you guys know me, I love a good old dramatic sky versus a nice plain blue sky. I never like just doing one color in the sky because I feel like it's boring, right? We'll get many more things to happen if we have multiple colors in the sky. So we can even work whatever black or whatever color is left off of our brush and work that up into here. And then we've really got to go and wash our brush off, because we can't continually drop on all this color and blend it all at the same time. Even though the more that you mix with that liquid white, the more it does blend away. We should really go wash our brush off at this point, right? So, you guys check in. Let me know where you're watching from. I'm gonna go wash the old brush off, the old brushery. And then we'll get back to blending our gorgeous sky. I can already tell how pretty it's gonna be just from looking at it right now. You might be looking at it going, oh, what is this guy doing? Why am I still watching him, right? But you just wait. You just wait until we start blending. Now, if I'm gonna start blending the sky, where am I gonna start? In my darkest colors or my brightest color? What do you think? What would you do if you were blending your sky outward? God, it's looking pretty. From plain, we got Missouri, St. Louis, San Fran. Is this the modal? Yeah, no, yeah, absolutely. Let's see what's up, Tony Ray happening. How's it going over there, everybody? Boom, ba-boom. You thought Bob? Yeah, no, he is. He's my grandpa's cousin, if you didn't know that either. Now, if we're going to start our blending, let's start in our brightest area first. And we're going to get some of that liquid white paint onto our brush just by mixing across it. And then we'll get out here, we'll start to crisscross and blend. And all of that blue will want to overtake our little whitish area. That's okay. It doesn't have to stay pure white. We want it to blend away and become different colors, right? And then we can decide how bright we want it to be, how dark, how this, how that. It's all up to us, right? How far do we want our dark color to come in from the top? That depends on how far we push it, right? We're in control of everything that's happening up there. It's all up to us. Now we can take that purple paint and start to mix it upwards, right? Starting down here and then just pushing it up, up, up each time. Softening it. Look at that sky already, you guys. And you can go back and look and go, you know what? I didn't put enough color in, or I put too much and I gotta work it a little bit more, right? A lot of times we put the color up there and then we take a step back and look at it and go, you know what? That is not as dark as I want it to be. But it's all up to you guys and whatever your scene looks like, right? All up to you. So you could decide, you know what? Maybe I'll take a little bit of my black and we'll work in some of that black paint up in here. You could even make like a little cloud sort of shape with it, because we're gonna take it and cover over that darkness with our brighter paint, right? So we're just gonna mix in the rest of it, allowing all that dark to mix in with our purple, and boom, 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 boom. It's kind of giving us an idea where we want to put our next cloud. And the more that we mix that paint, right? Like if I just sat there and mixed it all away, it would disappear, literally. We're deciding what we want our sky to look like every time that we do it. It's up to us to decide what's it gonna be, right? We're in control. That's a stormy looking sky out there, you guys. Now let's take our fan brush. Just an old nasty fan brush. These are actually, they're $1 a piece right now. If you get them on the Zon of Emma, the Zon of Emma, right? They're the GAC Doctor fan brushes. And I think they are like $7.10 right now for a pack of 7. That's crazy. Let's come out here. Let's start above our darker space, right? Kind of floating, kind of underneath that lighter area. Let's project and push and mush and spin the brush back and forth and try to get it to come off of the fan brush. Look at how much paint is still dropping off the fan brush, right? We can even sit there and blend it like that to where it almost looks like a little cloud. And you can see our brush went from clean to very bluish gray. Let's take a little bit more white, just so we can have a bit of brightness over here. And the reason that we do it this way is so that it is random, right? We don't have the same amount of paint anywhere on the canvas. It's all mixed up. That way, when we start to blend it out, we will have different little things show up, right? So if we get out here, even with our bluey kind of brush that we did our sky with, I'm just gonna use the corner of the brush, way out here on the handle like I'm stirring up chocolate milk, right? Out there, mixing it up. And remember, guys, you can not only get this one, but many, many, many more. If you go to pwj.info, it's perfect. Literally. Take you right over to where you need to be in order to find all the Paint My Josh paintings you can find. You can see we're never staying in one place for too long. That's the secret. Don't just sit there and mix one spot over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, because you're going to lose all these cool little details, right? You want to move. You want it to be weird. You want to take some color from there, drag it over here, take some of this and drag it over that way. But you never want to be just sitting in one spot, because if you do, all of your clouds will blend away and they'll all be gone forever. Right now, do you want to have those little things that hang down and droop down over your cloud? Because they look kind of cool sometimes. It's all up to you and your swipes, right? 1, 2, 3 swipes will drag it down that way. Or if you push on it hard enough, you can make it flat, right? It's up to you and whatever you decide, however you like your cloud, right? Very cool. Cool little cloud out there, guys. We can even, let's take a little bit of black onto that brush that already had the white paint, so it's not gonna be pure black. It's gonna be a little darker grayish bit. What if we came out here and just projected a little bit of darkness? Just kind of underneath that guy and coming up through wherever. Because not all the time do you see just these pure white clouds. So if we don't use a lot of black, it's going to mix away quickly, which is what's going to happen if I try to mix that guy up too much. It's going to mix away and be gone. Right? Now let's say I look at it and I don't like it. That's the best part about the oil paints, is you can literally mix it, or take this guy and mix that white back down over that shadow with a couple little swipes, mix it up at the bottom over here, and all of a sudden that whole big old black darkness area is gone, right? A little bit shadowy underneath, but the whole thing is now disappeared and part of the bottom of that cloud. So just to show you, you can literally do whatever you want to do, dude, all the time, anytime that you paint. It's up to you what it looks like, okay? Now, let's get out here, wipe off that old fan brush since we got that darkness on. Let's get over here. We'll take a little bit more of our white paint, a lot more than we got of our dark paint, right? That way we can come down here into this darker area and perhaps project a bit more distance just by scrubbing it on. And we come up that way, pop it down over here. And how far do you want it to go down? How close do you want it to be? Do you want them to touch, or do you want to mix this up so much that it doesn't look like that they're touching anymore, right? Up to us every time. If we don't use a lot of paint, like we did not on this guy, he's got much less paint. You can see it's a lot. It's not dragging as far as the other one is, right? It's a lot softer. It's a lot closer. So, like I said again, you get to decide by the amount of paint that's on our brush, right? If we got a lot of paint, it'll be really bright, right? We only have a little bit of paint, it's going to be darker. So we get to decide what it looks like literally every time. How many literallys is that for the people that are counting? I would say at least 10 literallys, probably 11 now. And the more that we mix this color down, and the only reason I bring that up is because I've had multiple people recently on the book over there comment and say that I say literally too much. And I'm like, I'm sorry. I literally don't hear what you hear. No, I do. I do say literally a lot. But it's because we're literally doing everything I can to show you that you can also do such things, right? Look at the distance and detail back in there, you guys. What if now? Now what if I climbed up a little higher? I made it a little bit weirder, right? And then we went and looked at it. You gotta have those things that pop up, almost like they're gonna connect. Oh, that's gonna be cool. All right, put that extra paint down underneath. Get over here and start mixing it up. All we ever do, guys, we're just playing around. We're just up here playing around, seeing what it looks like, how it's gonna look if we did this or that. Because that's the fun part about painting. When you lose the fear of, oh no, like I'm gonna mess it up if I do something else, and you replace that fear with, what's it gonna look like? What if I did this? Because if I did that, it's gonna look a certain way. If I did something else, it's gonna look a different way, right? So what if is the most fun part, because every time that what if is gonna end up a little different. It's gonna come out a little different, right? We're gonna have a different sky, a different thing, a different here, a different there. Every time we paint, that's the fun part about it, you guys. Now let's get over here. We're gonna take our blue. We might as well get our purple and a little touch of our black onto the brush. Just mix it right down there into the blue, so we got this dark, dark, dark color right there, okay? Now we're gonna do the hardest thing known to mankind, which is paint a straight line live in front of thousands of people, okay? Literally a straight line. I literally love you guys. Okay, here we go. In front of thousands. Let's see, where's that center beam? Way up there, okay, cool. So I wanna come down. We're gonna take our brush. We're gonna go like this. We're gonna start to dump it off. And I'm gonna need your guys' assistance in telling me, that one actually might be perfectly straight on the very first go. I think we've done this enough times that we can make a perfectly level horizon right? So you tell me whether or not it is perfectly level. Thank you, Kathy, for joining the super squad. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. No trees, not in this one. We're doing a Seascape. The old Seascape. So, if you can get your level horizon in your dark paint, okay, then we're gonna decide how far do we want the beach away from us. Because if we leave it this far away, it's gonna look like we got a long walk to get to the ocean, right? If we bring it down, again, pushing really hard to drop off that paint, and we extend it down by double its length, okay? We can either put far waves in the background and wet sand in the front, or do this whole thing as a bigger wave, which will bring our scene closer to us, right? Again, all up to you every time you do it, okay? I want it to be dark, so if you have to put the black and the purple on the brush to get it way back there to get dark, that's fine, okay? We want it to be dark back there so we can save some of those shadows. This is, instead of doing it on a black canvas, we have to use a lot of dark paint and then try not to cover all that darkness, okay? So now let's come out here, and we're gonna start very lightly. Didn't wash the brush. Actually, I might wanna dab it off on a paper towel, just a little bit. Then we can push on this stuff and let it intermix in with the liquid white paint, okay? And if we let it intermix with our liquid out there in the day, it's gonna get lighter and lighter and lighter. And that lighter area could serve as our wet, very thin area of paint. Hang on. Right, our very thin area of paint out here, or of water, excuse me, where it gets very light colored and sort of matches our sky color. Right? That's why we use these colors up here, so they will sort of reflect down here. Right? And the more that I don't want to go back and pick up any more paint down on my palette. I want to get it from back there where it's heavy, bring it down here, and just kind of blend those two together so they get lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter and lighter. Oh, that's fabulous. Fabulous. I'm going to take a little bit more paint. I'm going to darken it up on this one side, sort of like we got our little triangle that we talk about all the time. A little black, a little bit more blue, just to make it dark, right? We want to have a flat horizon in the back and then have it trail down this way. That'll make it look like this part is further away and this part is closer to us. See how it gets out like that? Makes it come right up into your eyeballs over there. Yeah! So, again, one more time, because I really didn't look too much when we were asking before. So check in, let me know where you're watching from, and then we're really going to start to paint a seascape right here. And in fact, since I have all this dark paint on my brush, and you guys are going to start checking in, I need more brown. I need to get more brown out of the old box. So check in, let me know where you're watching from. We're going to be using our Winsor & Newton Van Dyke brown for this guy. We got Florida, Colorado, boom, ba-boom, Nepal, Sweden, Georgia, Miami, Houston, Texas, what's that, South Carolina, Texas, Colorado, Chile, Puerto Rico, we got Virginia, Florence, Oregon. I'm in Eugene, Oregon. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding? I'm like an hour away from you over here in Eugene. I love, Florence is literally my favorite place on earth. I can show you 15 different paintings that I have hanging around of Heceta Head Lighthouse Beach, that little cove area right there. It's my sanctuary. I love going there. So, awesome. You're so close. You got to come down and take a class, definitely. Or at least come down and check out the studio. Be like, oh, I saw you on TikTok. You were like live painting and stuff. I was like, oh, cool. At least come down and check it out. I mean, if you're close enough. Do you know how many people out there would give their left leg to live as close to me as you do right now? Do you, guys, how many of you would give your left leg to live an hour away from Paint with Josh and be able to come take my classes at any moment, at any time, on any day of the week? Anybody out there, would you guys give up? Okay, maybe not your left leg, okay, but something. Would you give up? Do you envy this person that lives close to me? Anybody out there? Me? See all these people? I would. Not me, that's funny. That's cool. Not a leg, right? But I'm telling you, I want my leg, but I want to be able to. I feel that too. I feel that. Yeah, we're going to plop a little bit of that brown paint up into our lighter blue color. And you can see we're leaving this area of white in here. And that's because I don't want the sand to get too dark. So I'm going to take my brush, I'm going to dab it off. Whenever we're doing these cattail seascapes, I consider them East Coast seascapes. And for whatever reason, I consider East Coast like white beaches, white sandy beaches, right? So if we put on too much brown paint and it mixes too much together, there will not be any more light colored beach. It'll be an Oregon beach, and it'll be very dark brown sand, right? So let's take that color, let's mix it back and forth, pushing on it real hard, allowing it to mix in with that liquid white that's on our canvas. Remember, the canvas is wet. That's how all of these paints slide and blend so easily, because we have a wet canvas. Now when we're down in our land, do not crisscross, okay? If anything, pull it down, right? And then swipe it across, and that way you'll get rid of those streaks, those horizontal streaks. Right? The more you push on it as well, the more it's going to blend together, and then we can decide when we want it to stop, where the sand or where the water meets the land, right? What do we want our color to look like? And if we really needed to, we could go back and add white to this area to make it brighter in color, if we wanted to. And we may end up doing that by the time we pull out our bushes. So you never know what it's going to look like until we're finished on the Paint with Josh show. I can't believe you live in Florence out there. It's like literally, since I moved up here to Oregon, I decided that Oregon is the best place on earth. The most beautiful place, the most fantastic beach, mountains, forest, everywhere. So if that's your vibe, Oregon is where you need to be, okay? So I decided, as soon as I, maybe one day hit the megabucks or whatever, I'm gonna get a beach house in Florence, and I'm gonna get a cabin up at Mount Hood, and I'm gonna travel back and forth, just every weekend, every other day, I don't care, right? I love those two areas. I never realized like how much I miss nature until I came back up to Oregon, or moved up to Oregon and got back out into the woods and stuff. It's just so much fun up here. Love it, love it, love it. Okay. Now we've got our clouds out in the night, right? We've got our dark oceany water, we've got our sand, and we have our lighter area in here. This means, right, that we don't want to get too close. I don't want to have the water crashing and then my sand level way down here, and then I've got no room for my bushes, you know what I mean? I want to keep it far away in this guy. So we're going to make a small little rolling, crashing wave out there. And if you're worried about the palette tool, you're like, oh, I don't know how to use that thing. It's okay, we're not really going to use it too much. Especially for this further away wave. We're gonna use our fan brush pretty much for that, right? But we have to do some back ocean water. So we're gonna scrape up our palette tool, just a little bit of paint right on the end, right? So you got that little roll right out there on the end of it. Okay, you can see it as we roll it. Now the angle is very important, okay? If I'm flat, vertical to the canvas like this, I'm gonna drop off every bit of paint that's on there all at once, okay? If I'm flat this way, like we're at tabletop, I know it's hard to see, but I'm gonna do it like that. There, if we're flat like that, right, then we're not going to drop off so much paint. So you start flat, and then by the time you go down, you're dipping lower and lower and lower until you're flat, if you need to, okay? A lot of times we don't need to. But all we're gonna do is put a very far away little thing, about 1/4 inch below our horizon, and then only drop down about 1/4 inch by the time we get to the end, right? So there is more space in between the horizon and the front lip there than there is over here, right? Getting taller and taller and taller and taller up there. You can already see the water rolling in. This one might even look like Peta Beach by the time we get done with it out there. One of my all-time favorite places to be ever. Gorgeous, right? Little scrape of our white back along the edge. And you could continue to literally drop these waves literally off the edge of your literal blade over here. How many literallys are we up to now? Is anyone counting? Seriously, we should have said that. Someone should have counted. Should have been in charge of counting the literallys today. We're gonna take our white. Again, scrape up just a little roll of it so we don't have too much, right? If we have too much, it can be bad. And what we're going to do is tap on to the top, just like that. Getting it taller and taller and taller. So we're basically making a little triangle, if you think about it. Flat on the side, very, very, very small. Flat on the edge, or on the top horizon, right? And then this little downward angle that doesn't have to be perfect, but if you really look at it, it is sort of triangular, right? Now, if we tap onto this guy, all we're doing is dropping on a bit of paint, a little roll of paint right on the front. Don't go all the way up to your horizon, okay? What we're going to do with that little roll of paint, however big it is not pull it straight down, okay? We're going to turn it, almost like you're turning the wheel of a car. Right? We're taking the blade, it's lined up like this, and then we're turning it, we're casting it, tossing it over very lightly, because this one's very small. That's very, 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 very light. Little things dropping over the edge that may end up getting lost if you put in too much splashy spray. Right? That's up to you. And what if, right? What if there was another one? Right? And that one would have already been crashing down. So if we tap onto this side, just like that. We've never done it like this before, but always fun trying things. Right? We'll load it, launch it, and then get less and less and less and less and less. And that way, it'll look like two little waves rolling into each other, or at least crashing at different times, right? Because not everything out there gets to crash all at the same time. Now, we don't want to put too much white behind the waves, and you definitely don't need it all the way back at your horizon back there. It's just going to confuse us and our eyeballs if we have too much bright white on our very back horizon back there. It's just going to hurt our heads. Going to hurt our heads, yo. Okay, now let's get back over to our little fan brush, and we need to get some liquid white out of our little jar. So, yes, you gotta let me know where you're watching from one more time. Let me know out there where y'alls are from in the day. You thought I was gonna say in the night. I know. We might not have said it yet during this stream, but that doesn't mean that we're not gonna. We'll see. All right, so we're gonna get our liquid white. We're gonna get into our titanium white. We're gonna mix them up about half and half skis, about 50-50, okay? I'm gonna read where you guys are coming in from. This painting, so boom, you guys, that's amazing. I love you guys. We got Reno, Ukiah, California. Is that what that is? South Africa. Merca, Spain, Uganda, Florida, UK. Got people all over the place. Thanks, Brandon. I appreciate you, dude. Ohio, Pennsylvania, Ohio again, Alabama, Missouri, New York City, Nepal. We got people literally watching, from all over the place. Does anyone have a count on the literallys, please? Let's get underneath this little wave, and let's start dropping in little bits by kind of smacking against the canvas with just a corner. All right, we're just smacking the corner. Now, we don't want it to get too big because it's going to overtake our scene, right? If we let it get too large and too crazy boy, then it's going to be too close to us, and that's going to make us have to decide whether or not we are going to do cattail-like bushes in the front, right? I always look at how does the wave look, and if it looks good enough, there's no need to put anything else in to hide it. You know, oh, that's gonna look so cool. All this lovely stuff coming down. Oof, that is gonna be amazing. It's gonna come down and hit over here. Oh, that's fabulous. That is wicked neat. Now, let's get over here. We're gonna take our brush and just literally with a couple swipes, just to make it just disturbing it the littlest bit. Now, if you don't have enough liquid white, if you don't have enough titanium white in your mix and you just have liquid white, it's going to blend away too quickly, right? These little texturous bits are from the titanium white that's in our mix, that 50-50 mix, right? So we get to decide what it looks like, where we can come back in and add little things, but you can see I'm not ever staying in one place. It's like our clouds, but it's much wetter, right? If we sit in one place for too long on this guy, it's gonna blend it all away. It'll be gone forever, right? So you're in control of what's happening out there every time that we go to do it. If we take this little doer over here, again, very lightly, very sharp, mixing up those little bits. Looks like some water crashing down. That's cool. I like that. Yeah, guys. So who got this one? Anyway, I'm going to have to look at it on the old pad. Who grabbed this guy? Lynn got this painting. Lynn. So Lynn, you got to let me know. Do you want to have those cattail seascapey type bushes in the front? Or should we get crazier with this wave? All up to Lynn. We can make it a crazier, bigger, and just have it be a wave. Or we can throw those cattails in, but I gotta know soon. Otherwise, my intrusive thoughts might just take over. And you guys know me, I love me a big old nasty wave. So, Do we do the cattail-like bushes, Lynn? That's the question. Linners. Boom, ba, boom. Anybody? Where's Lynn watching anyway? Lynn, where are you watching on? Let us know. We're going to come back in here with our liquid white, titanium white. And it's about a 90-10 mix again. We're going to drop down to the base of our wave and start skirting and moving and pushing and mushing. And taking all that stuff and doing whatever we want to do with it. Pushing it back as far as we can make it. Right? It's all up to us where we put these little white watery details. Okay? It's all up to us how bright they are, how thick the paint is. Right? Every time that we do one of these is another opportunity to do them a little different, to try a different angle, to look at it a little differently, right? We'll get down here, we know this one's gonna get a little lower, a little lower, a little lower towards us, right? Making this side a little bit closer, that side a little bit further away, and then we can decide, do we wanna come up underneath this guy with a whole bunch of little, right? You can see we're almost going vertical, because we also have to be pulling it in this other direction too, right? Do you see? Do you see what has to happen right here? And you cannot drop off a lot of paint. It's about the one time we're ever gonna go vertical in a wave like that, right? Is when they're coming from both directions. And then we've gotta make that split-second decision and then start coming off it this way and this way and this way, getting flatter and flatter and flatter as we roll out to the side, right? All up to us, literally. Again, never painted one like this. Just going off of how we would normally do it. There. If we were doing one wave going that way or one wave going this way, we would do it a certain way, right? And so, we get to decide what that is. Bang. Bang. Guys, look at that. That is looking cool. Look at this for some details out there, man. Never know, again, what it's going to look like until you start doing it. So stop wasting time. Get your butt out there and start doing it, man. God, that looks neat. Like we're just looking just right on, straight ahead onto that wave. Man alive. That is fantastic. I'm going to bring down my line on this side, so leaving myself a little bit straighter of an angle, right? We're still going down, but it's not as severe anymore. And the more that I kind of spread this one out and make it flatter and flatter and flatter, right? Bringing it closer down to my landy, sandy little, oh my God, that is such a cool looking wave, you guys. On a white canvas too, that is cool. Okay, cattails, cool. Cool. That's what I wanted to do anyways, man. There we go. Dang, look at all these neat little things, just literal messes. How many literallys are we up to, guys? So, let's take our liquid white again, mix it in with our titanium white. So we got about our 90-10 mixture. Okay. Need a little bit more liquid white. That was about not enough, basically. There we go. So we got our liquid white, we got our titanium white. Now, there's only one way to really mess this part up, and that's if you let these two pieces of white paint touch. Okay, so just promise me now. Say, Josh, say it out loud, Josh. I promise that I will not let these two white layers of paint touch. Do you really? You really promise, or are you fibbing on me? Because I'm asking you for realsies, let's not do too much paint either, right? Little swipes, little bits. I'm asking you for realsies to say it out loud right now, Josh. I will do the best of my abilities to not let those two bits of white paint touch, right? Because that's white and that's white. And if they touch together, we're not gonna know what's happening out there, okay? So I could hear a couple of you, not as many as I wanted, but I could hear a couple of you say it out there, okay? Now let's take our brush, dab it off on paper towel, real good like. Okay, dab it on. Now, Lynn, let me ask you one more thing too. Do you want the grassy, like the blades of grassy ones, or the more like bushy ones with the little cattails that pop out? Because we do them two different ways now. All right, so go like that, pop it down and down. We're just gonna pull down on this thing, and all I'm gonna ask you is, does this look like wet sandy beach? Yes or no? And don't touch that wave above. Okay, does that look like wet sandy beach? Might look like a very faint waterfall right now, right? Because we're over that dark brown color. Isn't that fabulous? Looks like a waterfall, I feel you. Grassy ones, okay, cool. So once we pull down on this guy, and then we start very close to the edge, pulling it horizontally away from our guy, we're gonna have a much wetter, much shinier area back in here, where all of those vertical streaks now became horizontal streaks, okay? Then we have to decide where we're going to trap in said wetness. So if we come up there, we come down, we just leave that little roll, a little thing of like, you know, some sea foam or whatever it is out there, right? That's trapping and get that water that's retracting back to the ocean. It comes up, it hits that spot and just slides back, right? All the foamy goodness, we can take our titanium white and our liquid white on our fan brush, just whatever was there. I didn't add anything extra. Just pull back from the edge, straight sideways, okay? Don't try to do too much, right? And look at that, how it kind of makes those little shiny areas, almost reflecting our clouds above. If we can leave little differences in there, leave them. Those are gonna catch people's eye. Now you might be looking at it going, that's weird though, what's up with that gap, yo? That's when we come back in here with our liquid white, titanium white mixed together, okay? And we sneak this thing down so small, right? So we're shrinking down our dark separation, which is going to make it look less like a gap and more like a shadow, right? And once we get that little rolling shadow, and you've all seen it, if you've been out to the coast, you've seen this little, there's a little dark line underneath your little rolling bit of foamy water. It's rolling out there because it's casting its own little mini shadow. You can't tell me it isn't there. I have videos of it. I have photos of it, right? So if you can save your dark separator, which is why we were talking about, please don't let these white areas touch, because it's much more difficult to go back and put it in later than it is to just not cover it all, right? And then we can very lightly, very easily, very small things at a time, bring it down and leave that little shadow underneath. Oh my God, look at this for a painting. Yeah, that's wicked cool. That is wicked cool, dude. Oh, it's fabulous. Okay, so if we're gonna do our grassy, it's gonna be big right here. It's gonna go right up through there. We've done this twice, okay? Both times worked amazingly. Second time was better because we left the liquid white there and we allowed that liquid white to kind of drop highlights on. It's all gonna do it for you, I swear, okay? We just gotta mix up the right kind of color. So, remember guys, there's more than just this one painting. Over there, you guys can grab all sorts of stuff, classes, right? Other paintings, merch, hats, clothing, puzzles, all sorts of stuff, dude. Legit tons of things. Now, we're gonna come over here, we're going to mix up a bit of our black, a bit of our crimson, a bit of our blue, a bit of our green, a lot of our green in comparison to those other colors, right? We want it to be like a deep army greenish color. And then we can go back and highlight that if we need to. If we make the right color, we shouldn't need to highlight it, right? So we mix our black, blue, and crimson to make our Paint with Josh black. Then we add our green into it to make our Paint with Josh grack. Literally. How many liter? Has anyone been counting the literallys, please? Can someone just give me a number? How many literallys we've said? A few small rocks. Okay, we'll try to work on some little rocks for you. Let's see. 176. Thank you, Tom Masters. 17 literallys, 67, 500, 999. None of you guys have been paying attention, clearly, because no one has the right answer. It's actually 34 and a half literallys, okay? Because I said literal one. Now it's actually 37. Okay, we're back up. Okay, let's take our very dark greeny mix. Okay, and we're gonna get our fan brush. We're gonna leave our paint pile in like a little Hershey's Kiss pile, like a literal pile of paint. Okay. Now here we go. Yeah. You don't have to necessarily go all the way up through your water, through your horizon, or whatever, in order to project distance. We all know that now. But if you want the waves to look further away and your foreground to look closer, it also must be a little bit bigger, right? So here we go, guys. We're gonna come stopping down about right here. We're going to take out a lot of this stuff right there. Make it nice and wavy. Drop it down, okay? Very cute. We gotta do it a lot. okay? Very skinny. Drop it down. Drop it down. Drop it down, right? They don't even all have to be sharp because we're just gonna come back and throw these little guys out like this, right? And as we fill them up just by pushing the corner, see what it's doing? It's pushing the corner of the fan brush like that and dragging it up. You can even see with the Paint with Josh fan brush just how thin you can get on those guys, right? So we don't all want it to be the exact same color all the time, which is why as it's picking up that liquid white, it's changing this dark green color into something cuter. You can even extend it all the way over here, popping it out, getting a little fatter, a little fatter, a little fatter. It just pushes back everything else that's behind it because it's dark color and because it's sitting lower down here than everything else. So let's make sure that we got some darker paint down around the base. All right, if we get some darkness down around the base, letting it fade up, having our couple little bits, and then we're gonna go back with our liner brush and add our little cattail bits to the top. Woo! Fabulous. Literally. Dude, let me do it like this. Oh, that's gonna be a oh my God. Watch this with a smaller fan brush, okay? Much smaller little fan brush. I'm gonna line it up on the edge. We're gonna take it and pull it to the side. Take it, pull it to the side. And get this little puff ball out there of our little guy. Isn't it fabulous? Like literally, I could take and pop on a little bit heavier paint right there. Go back in, grab this guy again, make him softer, but also darker because we've done it twice. Look at that for a little bush. Yeah, fabulous. Change these guys out like this. Pop this guy out over here. A couple little doers out there. The majority of his stuff's getting blown into the wind. That's why we're blasting the wind and bending all of our little angles back like that, okay? Now, we can decide as we come up here and grab our little friend and pull him out around this base. Mix in that color with our dark sand, our sandy bit. Look at that. Just get this little thing just floating out there. Oh God, isn't that fabulous? My lord. Okay, Lynn wants a couple little rocks out here. So what if we just pop on, a little darker in our color, pop on a little rock. Just a little guy out there, right? Now, I know that I'm gonna have a little bit of shadow underneath that guy. So pull down very lightly, streak it, and pull it back, and push it out. Pull, and drag our sand towards it, kind of hide it right there in the sand, right? We're in control of what's happening. Should we do another little guy? Pop him down right there. It's a little bigger little rock, right? Just a little excess paint underneath, okay? So that we can take it and pull it away, leaving our little shadows, little drag marks, little rocks here, there, wherever, right? We can decide, and if we didn't like them, okay, we can come back in, drop our bush down here again, and say, you know what, okay, we tried the little rock down there at the base, didn't really like how it looked, so we've made this guy a little bit bigger, and then we can come out here, dragging off some shadowy color, and this paint backwards, blend it out, and just like that, the rock never existed. It was never there. Right? We're in control, you guys, of literally everything that's happening out there. I like our one little guy. I did not like the bigger guy that was down below. So we're gonna leave our little guy out there. Let's take a touch of our titanium white, a little bit of our brown. We're gonna mix those guys together, just to make a rocky color. That's too much titanium white. Here we go. That's still way too bright. Told ya. There we go. Gorgeous. Scrape that little guy up. I'm gonna tap on top of our little rocky friend right here. Not trying to cover every piece of him. Just trying to have a little bit of brown on top of our little thing down there. That's cool looking, guys. Now, let's go throw in our sand and our splash effects. This is, that's perfection. If you asked me, and you were like, Josh, what's the most perfect little bushy cattail-y thing you've ever painted? And I would be like, this guy. All right, we can even extend that brightness, bring that brightness back by adding titanium white, just like we were painting snow. Right? And we can get that really shiny, bright beach. The brightest of the beaches. Right? And we can decide, yeah. Right? Mix it up back here, however bright you want it to be, right? You're in control. You mix that white up. It's your decision, Gage. Fabulous, dude. Dude, that's cool. Okay, Now, you guys start coming up with a title for this one because Lynn's gonna need your help making a title. Right? She needs help with picking the title, which is what happens when you choose the paint. When you get the Paint with Josh painting that is being featured and painted during the show. Right? Then you get to pick the title forever. It becomes your painting to pick. Now, a lot of times she lets a lot of people or other people choose what the painting is going to be called. So let's take our black and our paint thinner, our odorless mineral spirits. We just want to flick out a couple little flicks. We don't need it to be too much. We don't need it to be too big. So we're using a very small fan brush. We're staying about 4 to 6 inches away from the canvas, right? And then we're never staying put. We're never just flicking and flicking and flicking without moving. And you can see the tighter that you are, the more closer that you are, the tighter they will be in there. But you're starting to see those little black specks. Do you see? And then we're gonna go into our Van Dyke brown. Oh, we can get into this brown color too. The brown that we kind of created to highlight our little rock with. It's a little bit lighter in color. We can sprinkle off some little brown bits. And again, move, don't just sit there. If you just stay in one spot, you're gonna be able to tell because there will be a spot there. Okay, now let's wipe off the brush again. Go into our liquid white only. You do not need odorless mineral spirits with the liquid white, okay? Just liquid white, pure on its own. Let's get out here into our waves first. We're gonna do our little sprinkle bits. All right, now remember, the waves are a little far away, so we don't need to sprinkle too much. We don't need to see everything. We're only really gonna see the biggest of the wavy crashers. There we go. Just breaking up over the top right there. Wicked. Wicked. Breaking up, right? Splashing in, now going off this way. Launching in little spray bits, right? Did you think we literally painted all of those singularly? Because if you did, I feel sorry for you. If you try to paint all of those singularly, you will end up losing your mind because there's about 1 billion right in there. Like I said, if you stay in one place for too long, you're definitely going to notice it. You will see. Now, we're going to take that same liquid white paint that we've been using for our watery splash. We're going to get a small amount of it onto the brush, tap it onto the side of the blade, and then into our sandy area, right? Flicking, 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 boom, 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 boom. Little bits, little touches of white are going to stand out like little seashell bits or something, right? We're in control of how many, how close, how far away we were from the edge, how many end up in our little watery retraction area, because they'll look like little bubbles. Look at that! Isn't that cool? Couple little seashell bits and stuff, some stuffery, right? And any little stripes that we get out of this guy, or little streaks, they're gonna help it make it look like highlights. So any little white specks that you toss in there and then go over them, they'll make it look like a little highlight. Fabulous. One more thing right in here. I can just feel like another thing is happening. Right there. Oh God, fabulous. You guys, that is the most gorgeous little bush I think we've ever done, ever. Literally, ever. In ever. In ever. Man, that's fantastic. See, we're not even covering everything, so you can still kind of imagine you could walk by, you could skirt underneath, you could get over there, you could do something, walk through this painting, because that's how we like to paint our paintings, you guys. That's so cool. That one needs to go in the Hall of Fame because it is absolutely gorgeous, and I love it. That's why. That's why. Excellent. Okay. You guys, okay, you gotta start coming up with a title. Lynn's gotta pick the title, right? So, start typing them in so she can see them. I'm gonna wash off a brush or two, and unfortunately, I have no more gloves. Therefore, I can't paint again tonight. I have 0 gloves left. 0. Ah, man, that is such a pretty little painting. Yeah. It's Mystic Falls, Nature's Fury, Salt and Wind, Rain's a-Comin'. I like that one, too. I like that one. Where the Calm Meets the Storm. Right, Ocean Breeze. Go buy gloves. I meant to. I meant to go get some gloves earlier today, and I was going to have a virtual class, and then there was a mix-up and some confusion, and then we had to end up rescheduling. But I was waiting all that time to jump in. London was here setting up the new streaming setup with the camera and OBS Studio and all that stuff. We're going to be running everything through our crazy video camera that we got, and God, they're not getting, like, you get what you pay for, and we paid for that, and it is it is nice. I love it. So, come up with a title. Lynn's gonna pick the title. Ocean Breezes is what she's chosen. Ocean Breezes, dude. This is, quite honestly, one of the best little 50-minute paintings that we've ever done. Right? One of the most awesomest little cattail, grassy bush, whatever you call those things, right? Who knows the actual term of this thing? It's like a seaside grass bush. That's my guess. So, Ocean Breezes is what we've chosen on the titling. We're going to blend the top with the patented Paint with Josh finger technique. That sounds bad. It works, though. It works. I'm telling you. Now, we'll come over here. This painting, you guys, is number 2166. And it came out absolutely fantastic. Fantastic. So we'll throw the old JK. We'll try to write the word original. It never comes out saying that. I don't know what it says, but that's what we try to write in. What's the title again? Oh, you guys. Was it Ocean Breezes? I'm blaming you guys. It's me for not remembering what it was. Anybody? Ocean Breezes? Is that what I said? My Ocean Breezes. Okay. All right. I'm going to put the word, you know what? I'm going to give you the option to change your mind. All right. Ocean Breezes. Okay. Are we going to put the word my in front of it, or are we just leaving it Ocean Breezes? You tell me, and I shall do it. Right? We can put my Ocean Breezes, or just Ocean Breezes. I'm waiting for Lynn to confirm. Sure? Leave it? She said sure. That's what we're putting. My Ocean Breezes. That's what she had selected. I just wanted her to look at it and see. 11/30/2020. We're all going to go to Paint with Josh. Don't watch me write, guys. It makes me nervous when you watch me write over there. Lynn, what a beauty! This one turned out to be, my goodness. Guys, we've got more than just this one as well. Many, many, many more paintings. I'm looking at tons of Seascape paintings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I like to paint the ocean. 8, 9. I'm sure there's 1 or 2 over there. 10. Yeah. We got like 12 ocean paintings that I can literally see. Another literally for you. Right here. We'll put the birds in, don't worry. We never forget the old birds. Mainly because you guys never let me forget the old birds, so I appreciate that. That's amazing. Let's go low on the horizon. And just flying in the night. Oh, it's wicked. They look like they're just traveling in a line, don't they? So dope. Follow the leader over there, guys. Over here, we're gonna go J to the key. Whoop, whoop. Fabulous. Oh God, look at that for a painting. Look at that for a painting. You got literally every time that I think it can't get any better than the last one that we did. We pop out another one that's even more fantastic. Now remember, I also have the smaller version, and the smaller version of this painting is kind of twisted on the side, and there's 2 of these little grassy little deals in there. I like the one. One is nice. Look at that, dude. Dude. Missing a big white shell. It's right there. We're just backed up from a distance. It's buried. It's buried in the sand in there. Oh, it's fabulous. Okay, so you guys are awesome. This one came out fantastic. I don't want the YouTube stream to go for too long, so you guys got to send me in your versions of this painting to my Facebook page at Official Paint with Josh. little @official paint with Josh, because there's so many fake ones. I can't wait to see your versions. Everybody over on the tubes, say goodnight, because until I see you again next time, take care. Rest of a good day. And pow, boom. You guys, my goodness. That one came